See, in this society, we value people who have worked at the upper echelons and made tons of money and run big Fortune 500 companies. We call that experience somehow better than folks who work with regular folks on the ground. And that's confusing to me. But I hope it's not confusing to you. See, Barack's a lawyer, I'm a lawyer, everybody's a lawyer. Hopefully, all y'all won't be lawyers. But everybody in this race is a lawyer. And most of them made their millions before they decided to help the people. And not Barack. Not because he couldn't have. See, young people, Barack was the first African-American president of the Harvard Law Review. And just to put that in perspective, you know how they set the bar high? Barack leaped over the bar, came back and leaped over it again. There's nobody else in this race from an intellectual standpoint in terms of sheer accomplishments on the ground who can claim that, being the best law student in the best school in the world. No one else in this race can claim that. But with all of that credential, Barack could have written his ticket anywhere. Instead, what does he do? He becomes a constitutional law scholar and a civil rights attorney in a small firm in Chicago. Why? Because to whom much is given, much is expected. And when you're blessed with the gift of advocacy, Barack's feelings was you don't sell it to the highest bidder, you work for the least of these. So he worked for years on issues of justice and fairness, housing discrimination, employment discrimination, voting rights. He went to the state senate not to amass power, but he learned when you're working on the streets and when you're working in the courtrooms that hope alone isn't enough, that you have to be able to understand how power works. And Barack is the only person in this race who has significant state legislative experience. 8 years as a state senator. No one else in this race on the Democratic side can claim that kind of experience. I didn't tell you that. See, because when you're defining experience so narrowly that it only includes the stuff you did, then you leave out all the other stuff. Barack has more legislative experience than anybody currently in this race. And Barack went into politics with the notion of, let me try something. Let me try to bring my values into politics. Let me try to tell the truth, work hard, work with people across party lines, work with Democrats, build trust, and see what happens. Well, let me tell you what happens in mean, tough Illinois politics. And that's another thing. People say, is Barack tough enough? Can he handle the Republicans? There's a doubt about that. But let me tell you, we live in Chicago, people. And there is nothing harder, meaner, tougher than Chicago politics. We've seen it all. So trust me, Barack can handle it. Because even in that climate, he got things done most of the time working in the minority, helped expand health care for kids in our state, passed ethics reform in a state that hadn't seen it in more than 25 years. Passed an earned income tax credit for working folks. Worked on racial profiling. Helped mend a broken death penalty system that sent dozens of innocent men to death row. See, these aren't issues you take on because you're looking to curry favor. In Illinois, if you're talking about ethics reform, nobody likes you. And in that climate, Barack became one of the most well-respected politicians in the state of Illinois because of his values, because people trusted him and believed that he was trying to do this for the right reasons.